we showed in our last show, crimes have been declining since the 1990s, and is now at historical low. So why is it that the incarceration of men of color had skyrocketed in the last 30 years? Michelle Alexander says, and I actually agree. By the way, she's a beautiful woman, but I think she's a lesbian.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think she will dig me that much. Anyway, so
and
that's
just because she's straight doesn't mean she's gonna dig you either.
No, you don't know the game. You don't know how the game works. Don't be a player hater, man. There's such a player hater comment. Anyways, so that's what Michelle Alexander said, and I actually agree with her. And the reason why is because of the war on drugs. You know, which is basically a war that has been launched against the communities of color. This fact even becomes more undeniable when you take in consideration the fact that several studies have shown that white people commit the same drug offenses in the same quantity of offenses as black people. You know what I mean? In terms of consumption and the selling of illicit drugs. You know what I mean? I think that this article made it for me because of the way she put the numbers. You know, the historical comparison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we have more black people in prison than we have that we had as slaves back in the 1850s.
Yeah.
She was also talking about discrimination against felons, and that being one of the reasons why they go back to prison. You know what I mean? Once you're a felon, you cannot vote. You are discriminated against in
an employment setting.
In employment settings, you know.
Or
what I mean?
As far as like if you are applying even for housing, they'll ask you, have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes. And
so in a number of ways.
In a number of ways. So and they say that almost 3 out of 4 felons that be in prison come back to prison. And also I think it's also because of another reason that I always said. It's because once you are in the drug game and you are making and you're making profits this way, and that becomes your area of expertise for a couple of years. That means that that's an area of an expertise that you cannot use anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And usually, you know, if you're good about your shit, then you're making paper for those months. You're making a good, I don't know, 3-4 G's a month. And so once let's say that you want to change that behavior, it's hella hard for you to go back. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna, you have no experience. You are 20-some years old. They're not gonna hire you and pay you nowhere near what you used to make, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's, since you made that choice, it's a sacrifice that you gotta make if you really want to make that change. But that's the bad thing about it, so people find themselves stuck in this drug game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree. No, okay. I agree. I mean, if that's all you've known for so long and it's been lucrative and it's been able to provide for you, your family, it's hard not to.
Yeah, you gotta see it. You gotta see it this way. I hate when people have so little understanding about people in the projects, people in the hood, that they say, why don't you just do something else? Like, why don't you just go to school? You know what I mean? You gotta understand
there's limited resources.
Yeah, and also the drug business is the most lucrative business in the hood. You know what I mean? It's just the most lucrative business, and you see all these kids looking at the role models being drug dealers, you know what I mean, and what are basketball players if they tend to make it, and that's what they see, and that's what they know. They don't see doctors graduating, and they don't see people getting college degrees in the hood. You know what I mean? I mean, it happens, but it's not.
It's not as common.
Yes, and people are aware of the fact that it takes way more effort to get a college degree. What do you do with a college degree most of the time nowadays? Other times you don't even get hired, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While these other dudes are like making a lot of money, you know what I mean? Funny, last thing I want to say about this